XPRIZE Foundation runs incredible large-scale competitions around the world that set very clear, measurable, objective goals. The first person to build, demonstrate this capability wins the prize money. And the world gets the benefits.
Competitions and prizes can actually bring innovation to solve not just any problem, but really big, challenging problems.
I think we're about setting a high bar, and you want to set a goal for people that's inspiring, but it's also hard.
When we're designing an XPRIZE, we're looking for something that is audacious and achievable.
Goals that are far beyond where the industry is.
Problems that the markets have failed to solve.
To help people really now dig into their imagination, creativity is everywhere.
We are leveraging the genius of folks from all over the world.
The tinkers, the entrepreneurs, the engineers.
People who are not satisfied with the way things are and know that it can be better.
It's all around hopefulness. It's all about collaboration.
The long tail effect of a prize has probably as much value as the prize itself.
At every single level. I've seen things go from a paper plane to an actual spaceship.
We've seen a private spaceflight revolution.
$300 million invested into the lunar economy. Over 10 million kids integrated in STEM education work.
Technology that increased the rate of cleaning up oil spills.
Technology to help keep people safe.
To make sure everyone is healthy.
Feeding people, educating people, cleaning the air, exploring the oceans or space. We're changing what people believe is possible.
We want to have an ideal future, and it's up to us to build that.
We don't care who you are or where you come from. If you're able to accomplish this task, you win, and that's it.
Please welcome to the stage XPRIZE CEO Anousheh Ansari.
Good evening. Thank you and welcome. Merci à tous et bienvenue. Arigato gozaimasu. Hello to people who are joining us on live stream. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is the image that was taken in 1972 by Apollo 17 astronaut. It was the first full illuminated image of our planet. And since then, it has completely captured our imagination. When we look at it, it was called the blue marble. When we look at it, it's very obvious why it's called the blue marble, because 71% of our planet is covered with water. The first time I saw Earth, I was on a Soyuz capsule. 30 minutes into the launch, I floated up to this porthole, and I was able to see our planet. It was an incredible view. I felt this energy, this life coming from our planet that overwhelmed me. I started crying, laughing at the same time, and to this day is the most vivid image I remember from my trip. When I was on the space station, there was this big window, and I used to just float over this window and look at our planet, and I remember these shades of blue and green of the ocean that danced beneath me as the Earth was going by. And during my training, I was told that the closest experience people can get that feels like being in space is when they go on deep ocean diving. And I can just imagine that this serenity of diving in deep oceans could really resemble like floating and being weightless in space. I flew to space. I wanted to go to space not because I wanted to feel the exhilaration of a rocket ride. I believe that by going to space, I can better understand myself. I can understand humanity. I can understand the place we have in this world. Our planet is mostly covered by oceans, so it's essential to our lives, but we know so little about it. While human body has its limits when it comes to traveling in harsh environment of space or diving beneath the ocean floor, our minds knows no limit. We are built to explore and to discover. We have a powerful gift called imagination. And we can use this gift to dream, to create, and to make seemingly impossible things possible. We explore in search of knowledge. The more we learn about our world, the more we learn about ourselves. Everything around us is connected. Studying astronomy, cosmology, brought me to the depth of the universe and then back to the depth of our oceans, as that's where life started. And that's where we search for life on other planets. To explore is to discover, and we must be brave. We must follow our curiosity and continuously challenge ourselves to find new truths. Tonight is about recognizing and awarding those who have been brave and have pushed the boundaries of our knowledge and helped us understand our oceans better so we can be better stewards of our beautiful blue marble. And tonight also marks the beginning of a new era of discovery, as we set our sight on solving the most important and biggest mysteries of our world. So welcome to the celebration of the Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE.
The oceans are our hope. All life on Earth is dependent upon our oceans. Most of our oxygen comes from the oceans.
There are more cures that will come from the ocean than will ever come from land.
Some of the microorganisms in corals might make an enzyme that drives new molecular biology.
Every time we go down there, we're seeing animals which have never been seen before.
The oceans provide food, energy, safe navigation.
So we need an ocean that's healthy, valued, and understood.
But we probably only know 5 to 10% of what the deep ocean is like.
It needs to be mapped much more accurately. More accurate maps will help humankind.
The challenge of working in the deep ocean is extraordinary.
The pressure requires all kinds of special housings.
You have salt water, which is very corrosive. You have intense temperatures, and it's incredibly dark. You can't communicate with it.
It relies on big ships, and it costs a lot of money per day doing it. But if we can remove those expenses from the equation, that will make this step change in terms of our ability to map the oceans and do some useful work on the seabed as well.
The Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE is a $7 million international competition where teams have been challenged to map the seafloor in autonomous or unmanned operational mode.
Using the technology we have today, to map can take days, and we're asking them to do it in a matter of hours.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Bonus Prize, or the NOAA Bonus Prize, is a $1 million competition in which teams have to detect a chemical or biological signal and then track it to the source of that signal. We had 32 teams with members from well over 25 countries.
Japan, Norway, Germany, Ghana, from junior high school students up to people that had been in the industry for 30 plus years.
Closed my finance firm and went into engineering.
It's not just for the experts, it's for everyone and anyone to take part.
Originally, our round one testing was going to be in one location.
We had secured Puerto Rico, but then Hurricane Irma hit.
This thing continues to break records right now, 55 miles east-northeast of San Juan.
It didn't seem like it was total disaster, and then to get hit by a second one.
Hurricane Maria slamming into the island, and one official saying the island is destroyed.
I think we all knew at that point things were going to have to change.
But everyone was still pulling together and marching forward.
So we decided we would rework round one, and we traveled around the world to test each team.
Our concept was to use an unmanned surface vessel operating in conjunction with an autonomous underwater vehicle.
We moved all the power and movement part of it into the air out of the ocean, and then the drone does all the moving.
Unlike a traditional AUV which swims horizontally, we've programmed our AUV to swim vertically.
We decided to use local materials. We came up with a battery pack from laptop batteries.
Our team is building a fleet of underwater gliders.
Our AUV is really compact. One person can carry our AUV and we can put it in the back.
I don't know everything about all the other teams, but I think they all face significant challenges.
Okay, so we're here testing round one for Team Argonauts in Germany. It's been extremely cold.
We were not prepared to test it under -degrees, so some of the components are not feeling so happy.
We're out here with the team, and there ended up being a short, and they flew into their power boards.
Building that heavy lift drone has been a challenge, although we got to enjoy seeing it crash the other day.
It doesn't matter if it's a bolt or if it's a sonar, everything at some point has failed.
And after all of that, round one, crazy, we did the last round of testing, the final round in Greece.
Our goal was to win in the semi-finals, but once you're in the stadium, you of course want to win.
It was all sitting on the edge of the seat type moment for a lot of this testing.
The Argonauts went out, and this morning they can't find the surface vessel or the deep vessel.
People were of course stressed under such an emotional and psychological pressure.
I feel exhausted and excited. Adrenaline is pumping, so I can't really sleep.
Each day seems like 20 days.
This is probably the hardest that a lot of the guys in the team have ever worked. We're tired, we're knackered, and at times that's painful and it hurts, but I think in the long run it's going to pay dividends.
This is the last minutes of the last competition. How are you feeling?
Well, now we can sleep.
Now we can sleep. Okay, we just witnessed a moment in history. This has never been done before. It's gonna change the world.
It's been great seeing so many teams be successful because now people see that this can be done.
With the XPRIZE, when you ask people to do something that 99% of the world says it's impossible, 1% comes back and they meet what you're doing.
It's one of the beauties of the XPRIZE is that it's not there to say, this is the end. It's there to say, this is the start.
Right now, current technology has us mapping the ocean floor in a couple hundred years, and we are going to develop a method to do it in 10. It's going to be earth-shattering.
The long-term outcome from this project is a better understanding of our world.
What lies under our oceans, Grand Canyons and Mount Everest that we don't even know about.
Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not worth looking after.
We will only protect what we love, and we can only love what we know.
It is an entirely new planet to be exploring.
So if you ever doubted how difficult the XPRIZE is, I think this video was a great testament. Now, here to lead us to a deeper understanding and appreciation of what went into this prize and the heroes who made it possible, our own fearless, tireless leader of Ocean Discovery XPRIZE, Ms. Dr. Jyotika Virmani.
Amazing. Thank you, Anusha. Thank you all. Merci à tous. Bienvenue. Welcome to the Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE Award Ceremony. This competition shares a vision with the royal family of the Principality of Monaco and the Musée Oceanographique, where we are gathered here this evening. In 1903, His Serene Highness, Prince Albert I, great-great-grandfather of His Serene Highness, Prince Albert II, initiated the first world's general bathymetric chart of the ocean, or GEBCO, which was published in 1905. This was the start of seafloor maps as we know them today. Tonight, we continue this 116-year journey and look to the future and a time when the entire seafloor has been mapped. Tonight, we celebrate the people and technology that will, for the first time in human history, show us in exquisite detail this place in the universe that we call home. Tonight, we reach the conclusion of a very long and exciting competition full of ups and downs and ups again. This oceanographic museum is the perfect place to recognize this audacious and momentous occasion. So thank you to His Serene Highness Prince Albert II, the Principality of Monaco, and the Musée Oceanographique for hosting us. Merci. This XPRIZE Ocean community is made up of people from all over the globe, from all walks of life, all demographics, from our sponsors and advisory boards, to judges, teams, colleagues, family and friends, All of you in this room, all of you with us virtually, all of us uniting with the intention of solving one of the grandest challenges of all, discovering our own planet. Access to the deep ocean has been limited by the extraordinary physical challenges of exploring this extreme environment: crushing pressure, corrosive salt water, complete darkness, high costs, and a lack of investment. This XPRIZE answers those challenges with viable solutions that benefit humanity and our environment by unlocking a deeper understanding of the ocean and inspiring continued exploration of our planet's greatest wonder. Here to welcome us to Monaco and this beautiful venue is a man whose commitment to the protection of the ocean is unyielding. He is the CEO of the Oceanographic Institute Foundation, Prince Albert I, Prince of Monaco. So please join me in offering our thanks and giving a very warm welcome to Monsieur Robert Calcaneau.
Thank you very much, Yotika. On behalf of the Oceanographic Institute and the Monaco team for the ocean, I am very pleased and honored to welcome XPRIZE and the Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE to the Oceanographic Museum. Prince Albert I of Monaco founded this museum and had it designed as a palace entirely dedicated to art and science. Positioned on the mythological rock of Monaco, it has watched and continues to watch over the oceans for more than a century. The museum serves as a place of inspiration, history, of outreach, culture and beauty, a place of the past, present, and future shared experience regarding the protection of the ocean and the common heritage of humankind. Tonight, we are very proud to offer this Temple of the Sea for the ceremony and celebration. It is appropriate that you are all here, especially since you are making a better future and history for ocean discovery and humanity. Now, I have the pleasure and honor to invite His Excellency Mr. Serge Tell, Minister of State of the Principality of the Monaco, to join the stage and to say a few words.
Wow. Well, thank you all. Thank you very much, Robert. Thank you, Madam. Thank you very much, Anush Ansari, for the very inspiring speech that you just delivered. I think it is, for me, being the head of the government, certainly a path to follow. Yeah, thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am absolutely delighted to welcome you all here in this very prestigious museum. As Robert explained, as you explained, this museum was built in 1903 with a vision. This is precisely the vision that you are following now. I would like to start by expressing my gratitude to the organizers and to all the experts, researchers, engineers, students who participated to this Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE. This XPRIZE is about protecting our planet. But protecting our planet is not a commonplace issue. It is an issue of vital importance. It's the most important issue of our time. And it's also our main duties towards the future generation. To protect the planet efficiently, we have to understand it. We have to study it, we have to explore it. As explained in the guidelines that I read for this prize, we have better maps of the moon than we do of our own seafloor. Oceans, which cover more than 2/3 of the planet, are still mostly unknown. However, this is where life started, and this is probably where the future of life lies. Dead oceans would lead to a dead planet. Living oceans will probably not save us, but contribute to save us. So, as we all know, if we want to build a safer future for our kids, our children, and save the oceans, while it's still possible, we have to quickly learn about them much more to find solutions. That is exactly the purpose of this museum built in 1903. This is exactly the purpose of this Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE, and this is exactly one of the missions that His Serene Highness Albert II gave its principality, its foundation, and its government. The defense of our planet, its biodiversity, its climate, and its oceans are the substance of our foreign as well as domestic policies. That explains why Monaco became a place where prominent people like you, coming from various world, environmental, research, academic field, can meet. And this is exactly also why I am pleased to welcome you tonight, and why I am pleased to thank you all for being here and for your extraordinary commitment. More precisely, I would like to thank the XPRIZE Foundation and its team who accomplish an amazing work year after year to promote intelligence, progress, and hope. I would like to thank the NOA and all the partners who have made this prize possible. And of course, I would like to thank the 8 prize teams for their intelligence, their work, their involvement, and their contribution to the great adventure of the ocean exploration. In a word, and to finish, I would like to have a word to all these teams. Some of you are going to be disappointed tonight because you will not be awarded. There will be only one winner from your group. But I would like to tell you that at the end of the day, the only winner of your work will be the ocean. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, and Robert, for those great words. In 1960, an amazing event in human history took place. US Navy Lieutenant Don Walsh and his co-pilot, Swiss oceanographer Jacques Piccard, descended to the Challenger Deep, the lowest elevation on Earth in the depths of the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean off Guam. The first humans to get to a depth of over 10,900 meters. And while 12 humans have been to the moon, earlier this month, May 2019, Don was on hand to witness the dive of only the 4th human to get to those depths in the Mariana Trench, Victor Vescovo. It is my great privilege to invite next on stage a true hero of mine and every explorer on this planet, here to talk about the first deepest dive in human history at a time when even desktop computers were pure science fiction, and also to tell us about his vision for ocean exploration with the new technology that's now at our fingertips is oceanographer, explorer, former submarine captain, engineer, the legendary Captain Don Walsh. I'll see you later.
I'm also a nice person. But she used up all the adjectives before I had a chance to correct her. Good evening, all. It's nice to be here, and it's so nice to come back to this mecca, if you will, of exploration, especially of the oceans. I've always enjoyed my visits here at this institution, and I'm sure you are also. What is exploration? Exploration, I define exploration as curiosity acted upon. We're all curious about things. Every moment of the day we're looking and say, oh, isn't that interesting? But few of us act on that curiosity and bother to find out the why, the where, and the what of things we see. That's exploration. And yet we're all born explorers because it's coded into our genetic fabric that when a baby is in the mother's arms, it's looking around, it's exploring, and when the child gets just so high, you go to a restaurant for a meal, and the child's running around pulling the used gum off the bottom of the table, putting it in the mouth. That's exploration. But in our teenage years, hormones, peer pressure, and assorted other onslaughts take that spirit of exploration away from most of us. It's still inside us. But few of us survive those years and into adulthood, and there's so many competing pressures, especially today, that knowledge, that interest in the why, what, and where of our world tends to not trouble too many of us, other than a fleeting glance at something and say, oh, that's interesting, and moving on. And yet, tonight we're here in the spirit of exploration, and that's very important, the spirit of exploration, to enrich and enhance our ability to look at something and say why, what, and where. And so I salute the final teams, in fact, all the teams that competed in this Shell Prize competition, XPRIZE, Ocean XPRIZE, because you are all explorers. You want to see things, and you want to have ways of developing knowledge from the ocean. So all of you, no matter what your age is, there's some youngsters here and older people, you're explorers, and I salute you for that because it's an important place to be. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my exploration. Did I push the right button? Just a moment, please. There it is. When I was 28 years old, I guess I got knighted, if you will, as an explorer, and that was the Bathyscaphe Trieste on the left side. And I was the Navy commander of the Trieste, and I had that job for several years. And that's 60 years ago. But since that time, 6 decades, I've been continuously involved in exploration of our planet. Maybe not personally doing it, but being with organizations and groups. And you see on the right side, that's Victor Vescovo's sub. It's called Limiting Factor, and I won't try and explain why he gave it that name. It's not very elegant, but he had the money, so he gave it the name. And what he said, the golden rule, a man with gold rules, so that's what he's doing. And he spent $45 million of his money to build this submarine, to acquire a mothership, and also some unmanned devices that would go to the seafloor called landers. And it's a system, it's an exploration system. And I had the opportunity to spend 2 weeks with them at sea. And it's really an amazing thing they did to be able to make repetitive dives. In 8 days, they made 4 dives to the deepest place in the world ocean. And Victor did get a little bit deeper than I did, by 10 meters. What's 10 meters in 11,000 meters? So that's very small, but it's bragging rights. When Jim Cameron did it in 2012, I was on that expedition, and I beat him still by 10 meters. So it's relevant and irrelevant at the same time, a dichotomy, if you will. So that's how I started. And it really, this picture here, there it is, that's an original selfie, 1960. Life magazine put a camera inside, and so we're on the bottom of the Challenger Deep there, and showing our national pride. Jacques had his Swiss flag, and I had my small American flag. But the point I want to bring to you, as soon as I tee up this next slide, there it is, it's teamwork. There were just 14 of us that did all of this, 7 months out at Guam, doing increasingly deeper test dives. So it was teamwork that got this done. And that's what we're seeing here with these competitors. They're teams. And it doesn't have to be huge. We're just, as I say, 14 people. But we got the job done on time, on cost, and we did what we say we're going to do. So remember that. Teamwork is so important. And I commend the XPRIZE Foundation and Shell for having the vision of inspiring these teams to do this work. And I look forward to learning more about it. I'm honored to have been involved with XPRIZE Foundation for several years now in the ocean engineering undersea business. And I really like what they're doing. And we're all here tonight to celebrate that. So thank you very much for hosting me.
You only had one wine? Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. A very nice man, just letting you all know. And legendary. Okay, so what did these teams have to do to meet the challenge of the $7 million Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE? Each competing team had to demonstrate their technology in 2 rounds of testing. The first round, originally designed to be an open water test, morphed into a technology readiness test due to the hurricanes that hit Puerto Rico. The second and final round for the grand prize was a real water test off Greece down to 4,000-meter depth. Launching their entry from shore or from air, teams had to map at least 250 square kilometers of a designated competition area in an unmanned or autonomous mode, produce for the judges a 5-meter or higher resolution map of the ocean floor, and 10 underwater images, all within 24 hours. Meeting the criteria wasn't easy. It required innovative and creative thinking, investment, a willingness and passion for the challenge and the purpose, and an ability to not need to have any sleep. Embedded in this competition was a US government's National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's, or NOAA, $1 million bonus prize to any team who could autonomously detect and then track a biological or chemical signal to its source, and they had about 6 hours to do this. But why do we need a map of the ocean floor? The ocean covers 70% of our planet, but we don't know what's down there. Our ocean initiative, a vision at XPRIZE, is to have a healthy, valued, and understood ocean. And in order to make something healthy, you have to value it. In order to value it, you need to understand it. A map is a fundamental piece of understanding. When we go anywhere, the first thing we do is look at a map to get our bearings and understand where we are and where we're going. But for the ocean, a seafloor map means so much more. It will help us to improve tsunami forecasts, it will help us define new life, it will help us to locate new and captivating geological features, and it will provide an insight into our own human history. They say the ocean is the world's largest museum. We simply don't have access to it yet. Another reason we need a map, and an unusual and exciting impact from this competition, ties directly to space, which of course will make Anusha and Peter very happy. Our baseline map from the first round of testing will be used by our partners in Greece, NCSR Demokritos, who are a part of an international scientific collaboration called KM3Net, and they will use the map to identify the best location for the next generation neutrino telescope off Greece. Neutrinos, by the way, are a fundamental high-energy particle in the universe that reach the Earth from outer space. They're very light, they move very quickly through our atmosphere, but seawater slows them down and allows scientists to count and study them. Once completed, KM3Net will open a new window on our universe. These scientists will search for neutrinos from distant astrophysical sources, supernova or colliding stars. The facility will also house instrumentation for earth and sea sciences for long-term and in-situ monitoring of the deep sea environment. So, through this prize, not only are we enabling a better understanding of our oceans and our own planet, but we're also making it possible to better understand the universe. To share some of the absolutely incredible initial impacts that we've achieved through this competition over the past 3 years, please welcome back Anusha Ansari, CEO of XPRIZE.
So in traditional XPRIZE style, we've inspired crowds from across the globe, many nations, from students to professionals to retirees, diverse in gender and age, and people who are dedicating their time, skills, and passion toward innovation in ocean mapping and imaging. Representing an incredible variety of capabilities and approaches in their technologies, all were united under hope of uncovering the deepest unknowns of our oceans. The Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE is committed to 3 key impact areas. And our long-term goal is to have these emerging technologies complete a map of the entire ocean floor by 2030. The 3 areas that we focused on impact are accelerating technologies, catalyzing new markets, and inspiring the public. We do these competitions as we believe in the power of leveraging every dollar at least tenfold. And we measure this impact in these 3 areas. So when we launched this competition, as you heard from Jyotika, industry experts didn't think that it would be possible. They didn't think that the teams can actually make our challenges come true in the timeline we had. Well, that has changed now. If we look at just in the technology field, 25 patents have been filed already. And these patents and the technologies have advanced unmanned submersibles technologies and overcome challenges in continuous communication, in power, and the control over the vehicle in rough conditions. Also, in mapping technology, we have seen significant advancement in resolution and the speed of imaging. So this will make it possible now for us to have this goal come true and to be able to map the ocean floors by 2030. When we look at catalyzing markets, as I said, we want to leverage every dollar. So for the $4 million grand prize purse, we had actually $52 million of investment that went to in these teams and building these technologies. 10 companies actually are now offering products into the market that came about from this competition. And 6 of these companies are new companies that are entering the market. We've also done a great job of inspiring the public. We've had over 7 billion media impressions in the 3 years that we had this prize going. And we directly engaged actually 25,000 people. And on top of that, we have created a collaborative effort with ocean and mass communication industries to develop an action plan on inspiring public, which leads me to this very important and exciting announcement. Now it's time for me to geek out, because I'm so excited to tell you about this amazing project that we have come up together. And this is something we're going to announce for the World Ocean Day, which is on June 8th of this year, so not too far from now. So I was one of those kids who loved science fiction. I love science fiction books, and I lived and traveled through the worlds that were in these pages of these sci-fi books. I was also a Star Trek fan. I was a Trekkie, and I believed that the world would look like what I saw in Star Trek. And, you know, we all said that, you know, anything that you want to know about the world is from Star Trek. So we've seen technologies come through from that. But, you know, kidding aside, when you look at science fiction, it plays a huge role in inspiring scientists and engineers to be creative and to create things. And it's a very important part of the ecosystem of XPRIZE. We have an amazing scientific advisory council that play a huge role in designing these prizes and inspiring the public and helping us to get the message out. So to help me announce this very exciting news to all of you, I want to invite to stage my fellow space geek and the maestro of all of our prizes at XPRIZE Foundation, Shanda Gonzalez. Thank you.
Good evening and good morning to some of you. With the help of our Sci-Fi Advisory Council, and in order to further our goal to inspire the public, we will launch an anthology of 19 original short stories, in which each writer imagines a future when technology has helped us unlock the secrets of the ocean and the seafloor, and have it fully mapped. Each writer has been paired with an artist to bring these stories to life, with contributions from 7 continents, including by a writer who was on an Antarctic expedition. This series is meant to remind us about the mystery and majesty of our oceans and the critical need for discovery and stewardship. We'll be launching this anthology, as Anusha said, on June 8th. And for those of you present in this room, we were going to give you a sneak preview, so look in your goodie bags tonight when you open them. Also here to whet our appetites for this burst of creativity, we have 2 very special guests. Here with us today from Toronto is our first, a science fiction writer and strategic foresight consultant known for the Machine Dynasty series and the novel Company Town. As a futurist, she's developed science fiction prototypes for Intel Labs, The Futures, Nesta, the Atlantic Council, and others. Please welcome to the stage, Madeline Ashby.
It was bound to happen to one of us. So.
That's okay.
Speaking of discoveries.
So Madeline, you know, in today's world, it's interesting because sci-fi plays such an important, you know, part. And with technology speeding up so fast, how do you, as a science fiction writer, write about all of the cool things that are happening, and especially being a futurist, how do you tell these great stories?
That's a very good question. So the key is focus. As with every other project that you've probably ever pursued, the key is sort of focus and deciding, almost from a curatorial mindset, what it is that you would like to explore. It's very similar in a lot of ways to how we design prizes and what we think about in terms of prize design and what is prizable. You have to start looking at, like, well, okay, exactly what issues do I want to explore? What are the themes here? How does the technology that I'm thinking about, you know, resonate with those themes? And, you know, what is it that the audience might be interested in, and what is it that might be most relevant to them? And how can we come together to sort of talk about the future? How can we use this piece of art to talk about the future so that you and I, even though we might have very different visions of what we want the future to be, we can at least have a thing in between us that we can have a conversation around.
So do you want to give us any sneak peek info?
About the
things
future?
That you're working on, things about the future?
Well, so the story that I wrote for this anthology, which I was very happy to be asked to do, has yet to be titled because that's a special weakness of mine that I never know what to call them. But it's about sort of the impact of undersea cables and how undersea cables influence migratory patterns among charismatic megafauna in the ocean, and what the nefarious uses of some of those undersea cables might be. I have to have a little intrigue in the story. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question. I'm not sure.
It does. Well, we'll all be excited to look at the sneak peek tonight. Why don't you stay up here on stage with me, and I also want to introduce our second person. So our next guest, Rochita Lewin Ruiz, was born in the Philippines, but lives in the Netherlands. She was the recipient of the Octavia Butler Scholarship and was the first Filipina writer to attend the Clarion West. Rochita's short fiction has appeared in a variety of publications, including, get ready, Fantasy Magazine, Apex Magazine, Interzone, Realms of Fantasy, the Weird Fiction Review, and Weird Tales Magazine. Again, very accomplished. There's more. She is also the author of the short story that you'll pick up at the end of the evening. So thank you again, Rochita, for being here. Okay, I have questions.
Thank you for inviting me.
So tell us a little bit, kind of based on the same questions that I was asking, you know, what excites you about science fiction and what excites you about the oceans? You know, the moon, I've worked on a moon competition, and so many people, you know, are excited about space. It's in television, it's in movies, but we don't hear a lot about the ocean exploration world. So tell us how you plan to do that and what excites you.
Well, when I got invited to write for this anthology, it just so happened that I had just learned how to swim.
Oh.
Well, a lot of my childhood was spent beside the sea, but you know, as a child, you get this ingrained fear of the ocean, yeah. And we moved to the mountains, so I didn't really get the chance to learn how to swim as my cousins did. So I just recently learned how to swim, and I learned how to dive, and that was such an electrifying feeling. Yeah. So I started to research into what it's like to dive deep, and if it's possible, also the experience of free diving.
Yeah.
Because in the Philippines, we have free divers who dive really deep and can stay down for a very long length of time. And from that point of view, from that aspect, I started to read more about what's going on in the ocean, what's going on with the exploration, and also there was another thing that I thought about, the relationship that we share as human beings with cetaceans, with the mammals who live in the sea.
Yeah.
And also the fact that the ocean is the cradle of human life.
It is.
Yeah, so that was a very exciting thing for me, and I thought, there's a lot of stuff going on in the ocean that we don't really read about or see. And I guess a lot of it is because what happens in the ocean never gets as hyped or doesn't seem as exciting to a lot of people as what's going on in outer space.
Yeah.
But actually, I think it would be possible for us to do something like Star Trek under the ocean.
I do too.
Because considering the fact I was talking to one of the sea cartographers, Christina, and she told me that the maps or the cartography that's happening on the ocean floor, it would take something like 216 years to fully map the ocean. And I thought, oh my God, that's a whole uncharted universe down there. Yeah. And just imagine what kinds of adventures are waiting for us, pretty much like Star Trek, right?
A series of books.
Yeah, so that's made me very excited, actually.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, to both of you, thank you for sharing the creative vision, and we look really forward to reading about oceans and sci-fi, you know, in the coming days. And just thank you again for all of your dedication and enthusiasm for XPRIZE and the work that we do in oceans. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So to take us into the next portion of tonight's ceremony, Jyotika, come back on stage. Thank you.
And thank you to our amazing science fiction writers. I can't wait to read the stories in the anthology and the creativity. Okay, so Seabed 2030, which you've heard about, is a collaborative project between the Nippon Foundation and JEBCO with the aim of mapping the complete global ocean floor by the year 2030. And you just heard previously the estimates were on the order of a few hundred years. So this is a very ambitious initiative, and it's driven by a strong motivation to use the ocean sustainably and undertake scientific research based on detailed information of the Earth's seabed. The Nippon Foundation is the largest private non-profit organization in Japan. It places an emphasis on social innovation, on implementing ideas to bring about change for a better society. One of its key missions is to pass on the riches of the ocean to the next generation. And I am pleased to invite Mr. Mitsuyuki Uno, Executive Director of the Nippon Foundation, to deliver a message about the importance of collaboration and achieving the aim of the Seabed 2030 project. Mr. Uno.
Thank you, Jotika. Thank you, XPRIZE. It is an honor to be here at the Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE Award. I remember feeling very excited when the XPRIZE competition was announced, as it offered hopes for progress in technology and in bringing closer the day when we will be able to realize one of man's dreams. Having the entirety of the world's ocean floor mapped. That feeling was clearly shared by the alumni of the JEBCO Nippon Foundation training program, and their passion and drive in wanting to be part of that process won me over instantly. Throughout this competition, I was truly encouraged to see such innovative technology being developed by all teams here to enable faster and more efficient mapping of the ocean. I believe that the competition served as an excellent platform to deliver the message that it is possible to find solutions to complex problems the ocean faces through collaboration. Collecting data to complete the map of the world's ocean floor by 2030 is no easy task, and cooperation and collaboration from people across different disciplines is essential. The wheel of progress is already in motion, and I pray that you will continue to seek opportunities to create synergies and keep the wheel turning. On this note, I would now like to invite Jotika back on stage with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Uno. Thank you. So we have some exciting news to share with the world. The Nippon Foundation and XPRIZE both share a vision in our mission to create a prosperous future for humanity. Mapping the seafloor is a large part of that mission in relation to the ocean. As Mr. Uno has said, it is important to continue what has been started at this competition. And to this end, we are pleased to announce a further collaboration and a formal memorandum of understanding between the Nippon Foundation, JEBCO, Seabed 2030, and XPRIZE. Thank you. Good job. All right. Thank you, Mr. Uno. Arigato. Thank you, Mr. Uno. Arigato. Okay. Now for the final act of this award ceremony. Over 500 people participated in making this XPRIZE possible. and I humbly thank all of them. But it behooves me to call out a few who put a lot of time and effort into this and making sacrifices by missing holidays and weekends and family celebrations. First, of course, our sponsors, whose commitment in joining us on our mission to change the world made this XPRIZE possible. So will our Shell and NOAA sponsors please rise? Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Behind every XPRIZE is an advisory board that guides us, and this board had their work cut out from them as we rapidly had to pivot in response to the natural disasters we faced. So I'd like to acknowledge and thank our scientific advisory board. So would you please rise Steve Keedwell, Dr. Alan Leonardi, Dr. Dennis Nixon, Professor Ralph Rayner, Dr. Chris Sabine, Dr. Dirk Schmidt, Dr. Richard Spinrad, Dr. Brian Scarry, Dr. Dawn Wright, and Malcolm Ross. There you are. Trying to see you all. Thank you very much. And we do have a special honorary scientific advisory board member, Captain Don Walsh. So thank you. Our judges, what can I say? This is an incredible, dynamic, international group of thoughtful, dedicated, inspiring people who traveled the world and lived with us through all these ups and downs. So, to the judges and their families, thank you. Dr. Victor Abbott, Dr. Ada Alvarez-Azcarte, Douglas Au, Dr. Catherine Ball, Dr. Christina Kellogg, David Mearns, and Shah Selby, please be acknowledged. Thank you. We were fortunate to work with many amazing partners, from industry leaders in ocean floor mapping, Fugro and Ocean Infinity, to Esri, the world's leading GIS software company, from DVV Technology and Sidus Solutions, who worked with us on the bonus prize, to our newest partner in the Nippon Foundation JEBCO Seabed 2030. And to all of our Greek and Puerto Rican friends and partners who worked with us over many years to make this a reality. So in Puerto Rico, of course, our thanks goes to the governor of Puerto Rico and his staff, the University of Puerto Rico Mayagüez, Department of Marine Science, CARICOOS, the Port of Ponce Authority, the Ponce Yacht Club and Fishing Club, the US Coast Guard, and many others. And in Greece, to Singularity University Greece, to NCSR Demokritos, the mayor of Kalamata and his staff, the port of Kalamata, the Hellenic Port Police, and to all those who provided offshore and onshore support, Efkaristo. From the launch tonight to the awards, I'd also actually like to thank our partners in the many events that we've held throughout this competition. Thank you to the American Geophysical Union, to the Aquarium of the Pacific, and the Musée Oceanographique, and the staff of all of these organizations. And then a final and special thanks to Moet and Hennessy, who have provided the champagne for tonight's evening celebrations, and will be presenting a customized bottle to each of the winning teams. So will our partners please stand and be acknowledged? Thank you. Where are they? There's This was a prize that required a lot of expertise, and we were really lucky to have Justin Manley assist in the writing of the guidelines, and a team of 5 maritime operational experts to help us execute this. Rick Cole, Eric Hawke, Jay Lord, Jeff LeBon, and Jim Morris. Thank you for making sure that there were no accidents at sea, and our lawyers thank you as well. So, are any of our technical consultants in the audience? If you are, please rise. It takes a lot of dedicated hearts and minds to run XPRIZE. This competition would not have been possible were it not for my fellow operations team. So at this time, I would actually like to invite to join me on stage Dr. Andrew Remsen, Technical Lead, Sarah Sines, Prize Manager, and Jessica Yoon, Prize Associate. Please join me on stage. This team and a number of others who have worked as part of this core operations team over the years have supported us. Behind all of us, supporting us, has been the amazing XPRIZE staff and boards across the foundation. So please, can those of you from XPRIZE who are in the audience, please stand. And also, I would like to acknowledge watching from XPRIZE HQ is our amazing colleagues, so we thank all of you. So please, XPRIZers, stand. And of course, today would not be possible without our innovative, hardworking, and creative teams. So, please can I ask everyone who was a team member at any point in this competition to stand and remain standing as we all applaud you. Okay, you guys can go now. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. When we launched this ambitious contest, we had a plan, a very clear plan on how it would be carried out over the nice 3-year period. Well, to borrow the words of Winston Churchill, plans are of little importance, but planning is essential. We'd planned to conduct round 1 of the testing of both the grand prize and the bonus prize competing technologies in Puerto Rico. Hurricanes Irma and Maria in September of 2017 changed those plans. Compounding the devastation and impact on the lives of all the citizens there, including some of our partners whom we didn't know for weeks whether they were alive or dead, was a concern that a portion of our baseline seabed map had shifted due to the intensity of those storms. The integrity of our offshore competition area was in question. Thankfully, our Puerto Rican partners were all right, but to ensure that the competition remained on budget and we didn't lose teams due to the extensive delays, we made a decision to separate the testing for the NOAA bonus prize from the testing from the grand prize. In January of this year, I'm delighted to say that we were able to return to beautiful Puerto Rico to conduct the final testing for the bonus prize. Having the opportunity to bring teams and their technologies to this island as initially planned is a win-win situation for everyone, and we were delighted to be able to work again with our local partners who helped us to establish our mission control in the offshore competition area and provide important operational support. 3 finalist teams showcased their technologies by trying to detect and then track a signal, a plume, from 2 sources in the competition area that we had established off the southern coast of Puerto Rico. To win the bonus prize, the competing teams needed to demonstrate that their technology could detect or track or sniff out a signal. In this case, we had rhodamine dye as our chemical signal for them to test their technology on, and then to autonomously trace that signal to the source. The development of such technologies can help detect sources of pollution, identify hydrothermal vents, as well as track marine life for scientific research and conservation efforts. These devices could actually also eventually be used to identify and find signals from sunken vessels, including planes or ships or submarines. We are very grateful to our NOAA partners for their vision in helping this become a reality. And representing NOAA here tonight is a man who not only provides the direction for NOAA's science and technology priorities as NOAA's Director of Research, but one who is always looking to the future and had the foresight 4 years ago to recognize the need for these autonomous technologies. It's my honor to welcome the driving force in establishing this partnership between XPRIZE and NOAA, Mr. Craig McLean.
Thank you very much, Jyotika, and thank you all for being here tonight. NOAA is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. We're part of the United States government, and we have a very broad mission. We're responsible for the science of the deep sea all the way to the sun. The very hurricane that you saw that interrupted the path of our testing in Puerto Rico is our responsibility to scientifically forecast, predict, and issue good warnings. I think our warnings were pretty good. Unfortunately, the outcome was very devastating to the citizens of Puerto Rico. But our enterprise inside of NOAA starts with a series of laboratories and programs that I am responsible for, and many of them worked on the production of this award and this challenge. Our mission ranges from predicting weather to conducting climate science and ocean science. And with that, we have such programs that are part of this suite that include the Climate Program Office, the National Sea Grant Program, excuse me, the Ocean Exploration Program, and the Ocean Acidification Program. But perhaps most importantly, our mission is to map the ocean. In so doing, we saw an opportunity with XPRIZE. There were 3 key motivations for us in pairing with XPRIZE, and we have done so in the past. But sponsoring the bonus prize and complementing the Shell Prize was something we were very proud to do. We wanted to accomplish 3 things in this prize. 1, to push forward technology development. You heard the math involved in how many years it would take today with today's technology versus bringing in new technology that'll help us map the oceans. The second thing that was appealing to us by working with XPRIZE was to provide a splendid public-private partnership that we already had confidence in from having worked before with XPRIZE. And then lastly was a vehicle through the prize to communicate with the public on the importance of mapping the ocean and advancing technology. So first, let me address pushing the ocean technology world forward. The ocean is a remarkably tough place to work. It's a bitterly hard environment to work in. And there's a great need for advanced technology in order to enrich our lives, our understanding of the ocean. And in order to do that, sponsoring the prize, the bonus prize, would give us invaluable tools that can be applied in many different scientific areas, not just the one we were looking at, but has benefits to ocean health, our understanding of ocean health, and the understanding of humankind's place on this earth with the ocean. The XPRIZE accelerates the rate of discovery. New technology is developed because of these prizes. And in this instance, our ability to develop technology that could track an underwater source or signal to its source was very important to us so that we can apply this in a biological sense, looking at hydrothermal vents and looking at the minerals and the like that are liberated from the seabed. These tools, this understanding can also extend, as Jyotika had mentioned, to the likes of search and rescue. In terms of a public-private partnership, we felt very confident in working with this partner. And as a public agency with tax money funding our budget, we need to choose wisely and make sure that the investment is sound. We look across an entire spectrum and we found that working with this community was very rewarding. In terms of the returns on research and development that we have through the XPRIZE, there's a high value in this, doing things that we could not do alone. As a government agency, we communicate with the public, but not as effectively as a prize organization like XPRIZE. We could not possibly have crowdsourced the findings and results that came from this work. And without XPRIZE, I don't think we would have been able to approximate the results that we had. But beyond this, we also recognize that innovation is a tool that prize innovates, and that prize stimulates, and that gets us to a point where we can see the rewards from this incredible mechanism to encourage participation from all sides, many countries, and on all scales. To communicate with the public and create awareness is very important. That's the third principal objective we had here. And the teams, through the technology developed, make headlines. The XPRIZE makes headlines. It drew a lot of attention to this mapping challenge and the need to map the world's oceans. It's the best way to inform the public with a professional group. And there's very little that we do know about the ocean, as you know. And what we do know, we have to communicate to the public so that the public can make wise choices. There are mysteries in the ocean that these prizes will liberate, elucidate, and bring and deliver to the public, possibly developing new advances for the blue economy, through science, through tourism, and through new opportunities for us in the way that we know how to manage the oceans and will learn how to manage the oceans better. I understand that the independent panel of judges, whom you saw introduced, had a very tough job on their hands. This was a remarkably challenging prize. No single team, we found, was able to meet all the conditions of the prize as defined. And it turns out that this portion of the competition was remarkably audacious and presented a very, very high bar. Although some of the teams came close, we have seen, as a result of the team's efforts, industry involvement that has advanced forward beyond where we started and to the point where we are highly confident that we're going to see in the future the very technologies that we had hoped to realize, but the building blocks and the incremental steps have been made in a remarkable way. One of the prize teams, Ocean Quest, a team of junior high school and high school students, have performed marvelously and developed a documentary that covered their experience in this prize experience. I hope everyone will have an opportunity to see their film. We're proud to spur this level of innovation in schools, in universities, in technological institutes, but we're most proud to see that the next generation of scientists, engineers, and technologists have already risen to this challenge and have been part of this. So, chosen by an independent judging panel of the 7 experts to whom you have been introduced, the 3 finalist teams for our ancillary prize are Team Bangalore Robotics of India, Team Ocean Quest of San Jose, California, and Team Tampa Deep Sea Explorers from the United States, Florida. We're grateful to each of you, each of the teams. Now let's see them in action.
So the moment has come for us to reveal all the winners of all the different prizes that we have. Joining me on stage to present this prize is our title sponsor representatives from Shell, Martin Stobel, Noah Craig McLean, and Dr. Jyotika Vermani. Okay. And Shonda Gonzalez. So as noted earlier, none of the competing teams' technology met the criteria that XPRIZE laid out for our NOAA bonus prize fully. So we have decided, the judges have decided, to divide the $1 million prize to recognize the achievement of those teams that came the closest. And with the first place going to the team that came closest and the runner-up who's the most promising technology. In reverse order, please congratulate the bonus prize runner-up who will be receiving an award of $200,000 in recognition of their progress toward achieving the NOAA bonus prize. Please welcome to the stage Tampa Deep Sea Explorers. And now for the bonus prize winners who will be receiving an award of $800,000 as the team who came closest toward achieving the NOAA bonus prize. Please welcome the Ocean Quest team. That we didn't have enough room on stage, but there's a half of the team standing right there. Please stand up.
I know I have 1 minute. I want to first thank God because this truly is a miracle that a junior high school team could get so far. I want to actually, there's a whole group in San Jose is watching this in live stream. I want to thank Valley Christian Schools, the board, the president, Darty, and the school teachers and staff who are just so supportive of us. I want to thank our sponsors, Riptide and Florida Atlantic University and Quest Institute for really believing in us. And our mentors, Stephen Hubert and John Erickson, who have just poured their life and heart into this. And also our Village Media documentary team, who made a documentary of this. A incredible journey. You have to watch it because it is amazing. It is inspiring to see how amazing these kids can do. And again, Jyotika and your team, it's been an honor to be part of this. And one last message I would leave with you. Invest in our next generation. Invest in our youth, because nothing is impossible for them if you can invest in them. Thank you.
Great. Of the 32 registered teams who started this competition, 21 semi-finalists were selected by the judging panel and were eligible to move on to round 1 testing, which of course was supposed to be the real-world test to 2,000 meters. But we had to revise that. And beginning in November of 2017, Sarah, Drew, Jessica, and I, along with judges and SAB members, traveled across the globe to visit each of these 19 competing teams in the form of site visits and a technology readiness test. Site visits concluded 4 months later in February of 2018. During these visits, teams conducted a rigorous demonstration of their entries to show performance in the 11 criteria that you see behind me. From round 1, the final 9 teams emerged to compete for the grand prize. In March of 2018, these 9 teams were awarded an equally winning share of a $1 million milestone prize in recognition of their achievement. Working closely with our partners in Greece, XPRIZE then converted a warehouse in Kalamata, Greece, to use as our mission control for round 2. 5 of the 9 finalist teams joined us for this final round of testing for the grand prize, which took place over the course of 2 months, with long, sleepless nights and days at sea. Before we announce the final competition results, it is with great pleasure that I invite the representative of our title sponsor, Royal Dutch Shell, to join us on the stage to say a few words. Please join me in a warm welcome for the Vice President of Exploration, North America and Brazil for Shell, Martin Stoble, to the stage. Thank you. Thanks, Martin.
Thank you, Jodica. I am excited to be here, but maybe not quite as excited as the teams that are here now. Still, you can feel the energy in the room. You can anticipate what will happen next. What was true several years ago when Shell first contemplated this competition is still true today. We understand the power of ideas and collaboration to solve truly big problems. We truly believe that we can only power progress together. The Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE is a testament to that, and I'd like to thank the XPRIZE organization for delivering an amazing competition. And of course, thank all the brave teams who dared to embark on this adventure. I'm extremely proud to present this prize. Working at 4,000-meter water depths is a tough challenge. Going deep into our oceans is even more difficult than going into outer space. So the competition really was a great adventure for the XPRIZE teams. After the field tests were over, we invited many of the teams to present their achievements to Shell. And I was amazed by the creativity, the multitude of ideas, the courage and the resilience of the teams. I was also amazed by the diversity and the spread. Teams from all over the world, with everything from one-member teams to teams of 50 people, and as we just saw, even a school class. And without exception, they all did a fantastic job. I've had a personal affinity, fascination for the oceans all my life. Already as a child, I went snorkeling all over the world. I then became a keen scuba diver. And today, I work the oceans professionally as an explorer for Shell. And it is astonishing today how little we know about our oceans. 2/3 of it cover our planet, and we have hardly ever visited it 10 times or 12 times into the depths. And I do hope that the technologies, the innovation, the ideas from the XPRIZE help to progress understanding of our ocean and unravel some of the mysteries they still hold. This will benefit all of society. To solve these mysteries, Shell partners with people inside and outside of the energy sector. We are keen to learn more about our oceans to ensure that we can provide more and cleaner energy for those that need it, but that we can do so in a sustainable way. Once again, I would like to thank the XPRIZE for delivering a fantastic prize, and of course, the contestants for doing a marvelous job. Now, I am thrilled to announce the final Grand Prize finalist teams. And they are the Argonauts from Fraunhofer IOSB from Germany, CFIS from Switzerland, GEPCO NF alumni, an international team with teams led from the US and Russia, Kuroshio from Japan, Team Tao from the UK. Please join me in congratulating the teams, and we now have a short movie to present. Thank you.
for their amazing achievement, the grand prize runner-up of the Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE, who is winning $1 million tonight, is Team Kuroshio.
May I just, so normally we would have our sponsor present you a trophy, but in true tradition for the Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE, Customs has held them. So we will be shipping them to you. However, this is why I didn't let the bonus prize teams take their trophies, because we're borrowing them for you. Okay, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll just put it back. I'll give it back to you. There you go. Oh, you know what?
Okay. So we're getting close. And for their incredible performance in this competition, the grand prize winner, who will win $4 million of the $7 million Ocean Shell Discovery XPRIZE tonight. Drum roll, please. GEPCO NF alumni.
I'm not sure where to start, but to say thank you to everyone. We're a truly international team. We were 78 people from 22 countries who worked on this project. And without this individual skills of every one of our team members, we wouldn't have been here, as well as the expertise and guidance of our industry partners and suppliers. Our diversity wasn't only in nationalities, it was in education, careers, backgrounds, gender, color, age. We were truly diverse. But really, our biggest thank you goes to the Nippon Foundation and their ongoing support in capacity building and the support of the alumni. It is through the training program at the University of New Hampshire, Center for Coastal and Ocean Mapping, where we all got started down this path. So really, just thank you.
So you might think it's over, but it's not. Every now and then, one of our competing teams does something so extraordinary. The Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE panel collectively recommended that one competing team whose technology was so innovative should be recognized for their efforts. And for such a game changer, the XPRIZE Foundation, Anusha, Jyotika, myself, and many others at XPRIZE want to give a very special award. We call it a moonshot. And tonight, we have decided to award an additional $200,000 Moonshot Award. While this team did not meet the criteria for the Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE in the allotted time, they are being recognized this evening for their exceptional technology that pushes the boundaries of what currently exists. Their technology shows an out-of-the-box approach to the challenge, and the proof of the concept has been tested. And the winner is Team Tau.
Thank you, all the teams. You're all winners, and we're so excited that you're embarking on this journey of discovery with us. There's one person who's missing in this room, and that's one of my favorite people, my dear friend and the chairman and founder of the XPRIZE Foundation, Peter Diamandis. He couldn't be here with us tonight, but he has recorded a video that I would like to share with you now.
Hi, everybody. My name is Peter Diamandis. I'm the founder and executive chairman of the XPRIZE Foundation, and it's a pleasure to be adding my thanks for your joining us at these incredible award ceremonies. The XPRIZE was started now 25 years ago with the vision and the mission of challenging innovators around the world to solve problems that are not getting solved. It was 15 years ago that we announced the winner of the $10 million Ansari XPRIZE, and I'm so pleased that while I'm not there, Anusha Ansari, our CEO now and the benefactor of the Ansari XPRIZE, is there with you. I remember when we first announced the XPRIZE, we thought about both a space and oceans XPRIZE. If you could win $10 million by sending 3 people into space, or maybe win $10 million by sending 3 people to the Marianas Trench. Now, we focused on the space part, but the ocean part was soon to follow. With incredible individuals like Jim Cameron on our board, we soon set out to find the grand challenges of the ocean. Now, the winner today of the $7 million Shell Ocean Discovery XPRIZE for me is a moment in time that transforms what we can do. These autonomous robots helping map the ocean floor is just the beginning of us going into this incredible frontier. And I want to thank Jyotika for her leadership, and Sarah and Jessica and Andrew for all of their leadership in helping create this amazing ocean initiative that we're celebrating here as well. At the end of the day, I'm clear that we're living in a day and time where a small team can do extraordinary things. What was only possible by the largest companies and governments before, it hit home for me when I went to Kalamata, Greece to see the finals, as these incredible teams of 2 people, 12 people, 20 people were building robots that were beyond the possibility of even the top companies 20 years ago. It's extraordinary. So I want to send you my thanks, my congratulations, and my passionate desire that we continue our march to explore the oceans and bring innovation to this frontier. Thank you. Have an amazing award ceremony tonight.
Thank you again for being with us tonight. And I want to tell you, this is just the beginning. Oceans are a big part of our effort at XPRIZE Foundation. We just finished designing the most amazing coral regeneration and preservation XPRIZE that we hope to find sponsors and launch pretty soon. So if you're interested, please come and talk to us afterward. But it's great to have you all here celebrating tonight. For those who've joined us on live stream, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this evening. For those who've made the journey to come here with us, I'm grateful for your presence here with us. And we have a nice reception for you. The museum is completely open to you to explore, talk to the teams, talk to us to learn more, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you again for being here. Thanks. Our teams, judges, and sponsors and SAB, please just stay behind so we can take a picture together. Thank you.
Life.